I agree. So the Kids Fund was really a brainchild of Linda's, which was a good brainchild. So we have a grants program specifically geared towards ending child homelessness in the Flathead Valley. And I believe this program will still continue to evolve. It's a new program for us. We just opened it up for applications at the end of last year. It's one of our larger grant programs in terms of capacity. And what we were looking for, and still are looking for, are innovative programs from nonprofits that are really going to have an impact, a lasting impact on child homelessness. So we have funded really one project at the moment. Casa for Kids was first to the table. Jamie Campbell had been thinking for a long time about a program that she had tried to launch several times, but just couldn't quite make it work within the CASA organization. So she came to us with a really solid proposal that Daniel was talking about earlier. They've hired Cheyenne. It's geared towards helping youth that are aging out of foster care, specifically, that in the past maybe have been lost once services ended for them. They really were lost in terms of what to do next, and with limited resources to help them get there. So Jamie had a solid plan in order, and we funded that program for 3 years as that program becomes a sustainable program within the CASA organization. We have 2 other applications in right now that are both looking great. We're just working with the organization to make sure that their business plan is in order before the grants committee can really have a really good look at it. But the Kids Fund is a wonderful program if you are in the situation where you work, specifically, I want to say in health and human services, if you're serving kids in need, if you have work in the food access realm of serving kids in need, education, absolutely, in terms of housing, all of those areas. If you are a nonprofit working in those areas and you feel that you've always wanted to do something that you just could not do because you didn't have the funding, then I think you should really consider calling us and talking to us about the kids program, or maybe submitting a letter of intent so that we can see if we can help you with that, because we really would love to.
Well, the only thing I'm going to add is actually the CASA program and how thrilled we are about that program, because it just was the perfect fit. And it was so amazing that this was something that Jamie Campbell had been looking at trying to put together. Cheyenne, who is basically directing that program, was the perfect fit because she herself had gone through with CASA as an advocate and eventually was adopted. And she is just... she knows exactly what these kids are going through. And if you think about it and the need there, these kids are, they're at the point where they're going to be, out of the program, nowhere to turn, no one to support them. And if you who have kids, think about your kids and how much they're still dependent on you, some in their 20s, and they're still asking for help. So, and that's exactly what this program is. It's the kids that are, they need somewhere to turn. And if we want them to be successful and to change the dynamics of the next generation, we need to support those kids. So the whole program is fantastic, and it's very exciting. We've had some wonderful donors step up and make that program a reality with us. And we hope to be doing a lot more when it comes to granting. So with that, I'm going to turn this back over to Lynette because our next guest is here.
Okay, so now you listen to Linda and I anymore, or at least you get a break from that, which I know, you probably all appreciate. I have with me Carly Rickard. She's from Montana Children's Medical Center Foundation, and she's joining us for the first time. Welcome. And I'm going to turn the mic over to her so that she can tell you programs and their exciting use of funds, which I think is really interesting and really helpful to our valley. But first, Carly gets bleach.
All right, thank you. So I am the Chief Development Officer at Montana Children's, and we have a really exciting program. We opened our doors about 1 year ago, almost to the date, actually. It was July 1st, so a little over a year. And we are providing acute care services to Montana kids. And so what that means is we really have no children's hospital in the entire state of Montana. And we, for the first time, are able to offer those specialty services and subspecialists. So as you can imagine, just because of our location here in the north corner of the state, it's really hard to get kids to us sometimes. And just of the Montana wilderness and nature, we have kids coming from all over. And so our use of funds is to help our Alert Air Ambulance program to get all of the specialty equipment that they need to bring just the tiniest little babies to us. And so we'll be purchasing those travels safely, whether that means they're traveling from our hospital to get more high tech or higher level of care, or if there's an accident or something like that and requires our pediatric and neonatal teams, then we're going to be able to get to those kids and get them to our facility to get them treated and get them better, get them home.
Okay, so I just have a couple questions for you, Carly. So, I mean, we all in the Valley, alert is important to every single one of us that lives here for obvious reasons. And so you're looking to purchase specialty equipment to transport kids. So can I ask at the moment, how are you doing that? And I guess my question is, that's got to be have a very large price tag, right?
Yes.
And so success in the Great Fish Community Challenge would be really helpful.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious sort of how you're working towards that, and has COVID-19 affected that, and how you're progressing.
All right. Yeah, certainly. We do have some equipment, but this is just going to allow us to provide even a higher level of care. And these things do come with very expensive price tags. For instance, I think an incubator for a neonatal patient that could transfer a baby as small as a pound is about $200,000. So it's a huge investment really into our community. COVID-19 at the hospital obviously has changed our world. It's really rocked our world. And I think, for a while we had to stop doing certain surgeries and everything, but now we're back doing what we can, obviously limiting visitors and taking every precaution that we can to keep our patients safe and our staff safe. But the reality is that kids are still kids in the midst of COVID-19. We are still seeing injuries and illnesses. We're still seeing kids who are having maybe a little too much fun playing outside and getting hurt. We still are getting kids that get cancer diagnoses, and that continues. Of COVID-19 doesn't mean we can stop cancer treatment on a little kiddo. So we are continuing the best we can and definitely being very cautious along the way.
So I guess as a first-time participant, Alert participated last year. Kalispell Regional Healthcare Foundation participated last year, also raising funds for Alert, which is a great use of funds. But I guess my question is, do you have any questions for us about the Great Fish Community Challenge, or anything else you'd like to add, I guess?
Yeah, we're just so excited to be part of this, and so grateful to Whitefish Community Foundation for all your great work in our community, and especially during this really strange time that we're in with COVID-19. Having this to rally around, I think, is something that's really important and something that we're just super proud to be a part of. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for dropping by to see us. It's great to meet you in person. I haven't had the opportunity really to do that. Maybe not more than once anyway, right?
All right.
So it's great to see you, and good luck during the campaign.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yes. So Carly Record from Montana Children's here with us for the first time. And welcome to them. So we're still here at our Great Fish Community Challenge launch party, and we have another guest who's waiting in line. I believe it's Gerda. Oh, not yet. I've been told not yet. So I believe we're waiting for Jill to come maybe and meet with us. But we have Gloria Nelson from Project Whitefish Kids who's going to come and sit down with us. So Gloria has been with Project Whitefish for a few years now, and she's going to come and tell us all about Project Whitefish Kids, which is a managing Smith Fields here in Whitefish, where the large majority of our team sports and youth sporting organizations work. But first, Gloria also gets bleached. Welcome.
Thanks. Hi, Lynette. So fun to be here. This is my first time doing something like this, so here we go.
So
tell us about Project
So we wanted to really get the word out. We feel like a lot of people don't know who we are. Project Whitefish Kids is the nonprofit that runs the kids sports complex on the south side of Whitefish. It's a 60-acre park with 8 soccer fields, 5 baseball fields, and 4 softball fields. It's a completely privately funded park, and we have a parking lot for 400 and currently a new playground that was just put in last year, and our shaded picnic pavilion just got finished a couple weeks ago, and we're working on getting some picnic tables out there for shade. Yeah, and so that's kind of who we are in a nutshell. Like I said, we're completely privately funded, so we're responsible for fundraising for all of the funds in order to maintain the park. It means fertilizing the grass, cutting the grass, which we do a lot, and one of our current projects right now is the a turf restoration project. Grass is not my forte. I'm more about my kids playing out at the sports fields, but we are working on a 5-year turf restoration project so that the playing surface is even and for all of our players, so we don't have sports injuries out there. And we've been working really hard on that. Yeah. Do you want me to just?
I have a couple questions for you, Gloria. So I know that of course, people can't congregate, and therefore, kids for a long time were not really able to participate in group sporting events. So I think my question would be, how has COVID-19 affected your fundraising capacity at Project Whitefish Kids? Like, what has that done for the park, and what are you guys looking to accomplish in the Great Fish Community Challenge?
So great question. We actually lost about $30,000 in fundraising this spring. We have an annual fundraising auction that we hold with the Whitefish Theater Company. And so we lost out on that revenue. And then we also lost out on spring sports user fees because we didn't have as many. Soccer was able to do a little bit and baseball was able to do a little bit, but those user fees were quite decreased from last year. So we're looking at operating the park on about a $30,000 loss this year, and our annual budget is about $76,000. So that's a significant part for us. One of the positives from COVID-19 is that we've seen an increase in community users, and it is just really exciting to us to see all the people out walking and biking through the park and playing frisbee, and people really using the playground, and people getting outside and being active with their kids and their families. And another positive of COVID-19 is that because there weren't as many sports players on the field, we were really able to work on that turf restoration this spring and make a lot of good headway. We were able to run the equipment for longer over the spring. They do this thing, maybe Lynette can help me. Yes, aerating, where they get these plugs out of the ground, and we have this huge problem with thatch. And so the aerator helps pull out these plugs and gives more air to the soil, which gets better soil. And so because there weren't sports being played out at the park, we were able to do more turf restoration this summer. So the fields are actually looking really good. So we're excited about that. But we're really hoping for a big fundraiser this Great Fish. We know that some people aren't able to donate because of the financial situation, and we just appreciate any help, and we're so grateful for all of our donors, and we just appreciate anything that people can give. And what we would really like to see is our families and people that are using the park that don't really know that we're a nonprofit just give a little bit. $10, $25 goes a long way. So
I think is still in the community, there may be somewhat of a misconception that Smith Fields is maybe run by the city. And I know Project Whitefish Kids has been working hard to sort of educate the public that the city does not have anything to do with funding of the park, that it is a privately funded park, which means you do the fundraising. another thing I want to mention, we had Bruce Aronson here earlier from the Whitefish Rotary Charitable Fund, and Rotary, who also worked very hard on the playground and the restrooms at Kitty Park downtown at the time that was built. We mentioned that Bruce mentioned that their use of funds, or part of their use of funds, is to purchase a washroom, an ADA accessible washroom, to be used out at the playground. And as we talked about with Bruce, specifically in response to the city saying that kids are using, behind the shed because they're too young. They may be in the 2 to 5 year old range, and a parent may be in the park, or a grandparent with 2 to 4 kids, and so they have to run across the road to use the washroom. So Project Whitefish Kids is also working on that project with Rotary. Rotary is doing the lion's share of the project. They're doing the fundraising for the washroom, and then Project Whitefish Kids, as I understand it, will be working on the infrastructure.
So we're super excited to be working with Rotary on this project. We feel like that is a huge part of what the Great Fish Challenge is all about, is kind of cross-pollination and supporting each other and using those resources in our community to make it better. So Rotary is working on fundraising for a bathroom that will be right by the new playground, so kids don't have to cross the street. And then Project Whitefish Kids will provide the pad and the water and all that for the bathroom. So we're super excited about that. Some of the other things that Lynette was saying is a lot of people don't know that the park was initially founded by a group of private citizens who got together and kind of thought that Whitefish needed a place for kids to play sports. And they purchased the land and put the park together, and then actually gave the park to the city. And because the property taxes would be exorbitant to pay on 60 acres of city property. And so Project Whitefish Kids leases the park back for $1 a year every year, and then the city doesn't provide any other funding. So we do all of our own water, all of our trash, electricity. We maintain the park. We do have to say the city did make a donation for the playground, which was super exciting for us. But other than that, the city doesn't help us out at the park, other than a working relationship, helping us, helping us apply for grants and such. But as far as funding goes, it's all privately fundraised.
So I think, have we covered it? Are we okay? Well, you can have a look there. We still have a couple more notes and a couple of items that you would like to say. No problem at all. We are here today at our Great Fish Community Challenge launch event. I have Gloria Nelson with me from Project Whitefish Kids. We are excited to launch the Great Fish finally. It's July 30th. We've been waiting in the office, and now we're ready to go and have a successful campaign. So I'm just going to let Gloria close out here and mention points that she would like to before we move to the next person, before our next nonprofit arrives.
Thanks, Lynette, so much for having us. We're just really excited about the park and the way that it provides green space for our community, especially during this time of COVID-19 when we can get outside and participate in outdoor activities. And we just love that the park is such a unique space that it really is your park as donors, and you can help us maintain that, and you can give us your input as to what you would like to see out at the park. We had a group of moms come forward to do the playground, and we're always open to new projects and what the community wants, because it really is your park.
Very nice. Thank you. So thanks, Gloria, for coming by. We now have Jane Karras, who's going to drop in and talk to us a little bit about Flathead Valley Community College Foundation. So welcome, Jane. I'm going to give the mic directly to her because you've all been listening to me all day. But first, bleach.
Hi, thank you so much for having us. I just want to thank the Whitefish Community Foundation for once again doing this wonderful Great Fish Community Challenge. It's really a fabulous way for people to give locally and support all of our wonderful organizations, and FVCC, Flathead Valley Community College, is so pleased to be a part of this challenge. We appreciate all of the community support. And this year we have a an ask for our new college center we are building that will be ready in January of 2022, right when we hope everybody will be able to be back together again, enjoying some wonderful music and performances. And we know there are so many people in our community, from young children to seniors, who need some assistance with being able to hear assisted. So we have a proposal for $100,000 to provide assisted listening technology support for our new performance center, so that everybody will be able to enjoy the performances. And the other great thing about this performance hall will be open to the K-12 schools, open to the college students, and open to everybody in the community. We'll be able to bring in performances that normally you would have to go to Spokane or Missoula or San Francisco or New York to hear some of the performers. We'll be able to have in our 1,000 seat hall. We know it will benefit everybody in so many different ways.
Wonderful. Or two about the performance hall, because I know it's a huge project, a tremendous project, and quite often the projects we see in Great Fish Community Challenge are not as large capital projects like that one. So I guess my question is, given the size of the project and the value it's going to bring to our community, have you had how has COVID-19 affected the project and FECC in general?
Well, COVID-19, just like everybody else, has impacted the college and our students. Some of our students, because of COVID-19, have had challenges with access to food, access to housing, access to education. And thanks to the Day of Giving earlier this spring that the Whitefish Community Foundation had, we were able to provide funding to help students stay in college, to provide food for themselves and their families, and to stay in their homes. So we really appreciate all the support from our local community. But COVID-19 has drastically impacted our students. We are prepared to have classes again this fall. We have classes this summer. We have classes available for everybody, whether they want to be on campus face-to-face in a safe, socially distanced manner. We have that prepared, as well as opportunities for students to take classes remotely and online. So I would encourage anybody who has been a student or wants to be a student or is considering a gap year, come to FECC. It's very affordable. Our classes transfer anywhere, or if you want to go right into the workforce, we can help you get there quickly. A great opportunity, even in these COVID times, to continue with your future and meet your goals and your dreams.
Well, thank you so much for dropping by to see us, Jane. It's really nice to meet you. I've not had the opportunity to meet you before. We welcome FECC Foundation back to the campaign. Obviously, you've been a great participant for several years. And Jill has been so much help with the color run, which unfortunately we can't have this year, but we always appreciate your enthusiasm and all the runners that you've brought out over many years to the event. So thank you. Thanks for coming by, and good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, should we get Jane to do it? Oh, yeah, let's get Jane to draw some. You want to take a picture?
Oh, let's do a picture first.
Okay.
That's a great picture.
All right, ready?
We're drawing incentive grants. So, Daria, how are we doing with this one?
We're doing 25s on all of them.
Okay. So we are down to the last of ours. I wonder if Jane would like to read that. The donor's name is?
Gail Bissell, and the organization is Flathead Audubon for $50. Or 25,
yeah,
sorry.
the incentive grant is actually for $25. Gail gave to Flathead Audubon, so I know they'll be super excited about that gift. So we're going to have Jane draw some more. Show this is transparency here. You can see the fishbowl being shaken. Oh, John and Kathy Hartley. So this is their third gift that we've drawn today. So that's wonderful. It's a $25 incentive matching grant. It's going to North Valley Music School. So once again, we mentioned if you came by early and donated early in the day, of course, every organization that you donated to, we put a ticket into the fishbowl, and we've drawn some people 4 times. I think maybe many of them 3 and some of them 2.
Yeah, 4 on the Hartley.
Would we like Jane to draw another one?
Yes, let's go. I'm going to do 4 more.
Okay, Jane.
We're done.
So we have 4 more apparently, and then we're finished for the day. Christine Rossi also gave to North Valley Music School, so that's $25. Okay. And Mark Galbraith. Mark was here early in the day, and the Flathead Rapids is getting another $25 matching grant on Mark's gift. So two more. So you came by at just the right time, Jane. Oh, good. Don Stolte came by and he gave to the Glacier Symphony and Chorale, so they have another $25. Oh, wow, there we go. John and Kathy Hartleap again. So earlier, Casey Howard was, I think, our biggest drawer, but now it's definitely going to be the Hartleaps, and they've given to the Bob Marshall Wilderness Foundation, and that's $25, and that unfortunately ends our incentive grant drawings for the day. But it was fun while it lasted. So we gave away $2,000 today in matching grants to all the various organizations. So thank you to everybody who came down and donated. We appreciate it. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you for doing
Yeah,
Great
thank you.
community. Thank you.
Great. So I think that we may actually be finished with our nonprofits. So I know we've said that we were going to talk to you until 3:00 today, but you're so lucky. I'm going to actually sign off now, and you won't have to listen to me anymore. Although I've thoroughly enjoyed, and we've all enjoyed sitting here with our nonprofit community. It's an exciting time of the year for us. We love it. I'm very sorry that we couldn't have a big launch party tonight and actually celebrate with everyone, perhaps over a beer. Seeing as it's 95 degrees or whatever it is. But this was actually nicer in some ways. Got to have a conversation with everybody and get to hear about how COVID has affected them and what they're hoping for from this campaign. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you all during the campaign. Again, pop out to our pop-up donation stations. Start next Thursday between 10 and 3 p.m. at _Art and Jewelry downtown in Whitefish. We'll be out in front with our bright orange donation tent, and we encourage everyone to send their donors to us. If you are a donor, to come down and visit us, and we will enter your gift to win a $500 incentive grant for your nonprofit charity of choice. So once again, thank you all nonprofits for participating in the Great Fish Community Challenge. And we're so excited to get on with the campaign. So everyone have a great night, enjoy summer, and we'll see you. Bye-bye.